Hey guys, and welcome back. So I want to start doing an in-depth breakdown of everything in this project and how I've broken the passes and also the environment, because I think it's very important to work on that and have something that looks interesting whenever you present something. So the first scope of the project was that I wanted to do multiple destruction shots, and I wanted to destroy this building as well as this one, but because of the scope of the project, it showed up to be huge, and so I only focused on destroying this one and rendering that. But my hope was that I will have this building start in the first shot where it's either being hit or the T-Rex is being thrown into this building, and then it's crumbling and we see a lot of dust and debris, and then we fly through and we see the fight scene. Maybe no T-Rex here, only later. So, but it showed up to be really complex, so I only added this building because it was very high res, and I wanted to show that because we also have it as a separate model that you guys can get and use. And so I did, and I wanted to have some kind of a city environment where this building is at, even though it's not realistic. The way the layout and everything is just in the center of this area, so it's not very realistic in terms of layout and city planning, but it still looks interesting. And then all these, so there's free models online from an online company called Kitbash 3D, and they have a lot of buildings and a lot of models that you can get for cheap. These models are the free one that comes with the package. I think it's the Gothic buildings, and they have free models that I used. So this is one of them, and it's just being copied to get this section and this building. So it's all the same. And then I used Voronoi here to delete this section, and I added some in between geometry to show that it has floors and stuff like that. And the idea was I wanted to convey that a T-Rex and Kong, they've been through this and they're coming through the city, and then decided that they're gonna destroy this building. Okay, so and then I also have apart from this building, I have one or two variations that I used to create this entire city here. It's all instanced geometry, and I have two buildings that are shaded. I just copied and rotate them. If you look, you see copies of the same building. Here it's this one, same one, this one is the same one as well. So just copy and rotate, and I got that interesting background to show more scale. The sky was done in Nuke, and then I have one tree, and I wanted to create some kind of depth or some kind of fly-through scene, and I wanted all this environment to be on top of a mountain or a cliff. So I did the trees here, and to show the depth, to show that we have perspective, I made this lighting effect to show that there is a path or something like that, but it actually stops here. There's nothing after that, but it helps in this shot to make it look more interesting. And so there's a tree, a grid with texture, and then this cliff here is simply a noise curve that I extruded down. So this curve here is simply extruded, and then I added noise at the bottom, and here it's flat, and then as it goes down I introduce more and more noise, and then I use this texture to make it look like a cliff. Okay, so and then all the buildings, like this one, they're all carefully placed to make sense for each shot. In other scenario, in other example, I had to move the buildings to get something close and interesting roof details, so we have nice depth in the scene. Okay, so the next part is I have the T-Rex and Kong, and the shader, the textures are online. You can find them from to wrong website, Gumroad, and you can download the model. I simply used the texture and shaded them quickly, nothing fancy there. And then in terms of lighting, so what I wanted to show, maybe I should show the entire. So the way I thought about it is I wanted to have a nighttime scene for sure. I didn't want to have a daylight scene, and what I wanted to show is this building in an interesting way. I didn't care too much about the physicality. I didn't care too much about something being realistic or making sense. This light here doesn't make sense at all, but I have a stand that it's lighting the scene, the building, and what I was looking for is to create interesting highlights. So you can see this orange rim, this blue rim here, the shadow being projected and hitting this area. So there is a light here in this area. There's an area light on the back lighting all this fog and Kong. So if we play through, you will see this blue effect. That's from an area light coming from inside. I have point lights inside the building to create this foggy effect with glossy refraction, and I have these lights. I have a fake light here, an area light actually, another one, not this one, another one that is causing this rim and this edge. And then I have this one, which is an area a spotlight here shining this way to get this bright spot. And I was while doing this, I was also looking at various different cameras to make sure that the lighting is interesting from different angles, and it's the same lighting. I'm not changing it per shot. So this, for example, this area here is coming from the area light that you can see here, and then as I go up, it's basically the same lighting. There's nothing different about it. You can see from this shot the area light or the spot. You can see this nice falloff. Actually, I was placing it and carefully adjusting it to get this nice soft area, and then I have this reflection from the other light, from this light. You can see it here. So that, and the reflection of this as well. Okay, and then you can see the difference. This is what I was talking about. You can see where this building is, and then in this wide shot I wanted to have something here. So this is a different building that I moved, made sure that it's visible in the camera because it helps with this angle. This is a quick breakdown. Ground, daylight, and then this, it's all the same lighting. Yeah, and what I did is in comp I have the various AUVs for each light, and I was tweaking them to get the best look. So for example, in this instance, this orange light, this backlight, is much stronger than all the other shots, and I wanted to get some nice rims, so that I just increased the intensity of that. And then for this shot, I made a lot of tweaks for the light to get these nice highlights in this as well. And you can feel it's a bit different because there's no more blue as well. We should be seeing maybe here some, but I made a lot of tweaks to get this the nice highlights. And then this one I didn't do much of change really. Oh, there's another one. There's another trick that I did. So if I go back, in terms of lighting, you see these lights, they are projecting some kind of noise pattern, or what we call a gobo light, and this is just to create more interesting visual. You can see it here as well. And this noise map I carefully created to get this nice pattern that makes sense in the scene, and I wanted to get variation. The same something similar is also in this area light, and you can see here how it's projected, how you can see the noise there. And then there's this shot, and if we compare this area with the next shot, you can see it's much darker from the previous shot, so I increased the intensity for this backlight just for this shot in comp. And that gobo light definitely helps to break up the light and make it more interesting to look at. You can see here the rays as well. That's from the gobo light that's being projected. You can see the intensity varying and these stretched lines. Even though it's not 100% accurate, it still looks interesting. You can see the noise here as well. I have another light from the left side shining this way. And then the lamps, of course, which are nothing special there. Okay, so this is a quick overview. I'm gonna show the new composite and give a bit more details about the passes and how I've broken down everything. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in a bit.